Okay, welcome back. We're on number 14 of the 48 Ways to Wisdom, Rav Noach Weinberg Zatzal's Sefer. Using my new camera today, actually, so hopefully the quality will be a little better, maybe. So we're on number 14, Mikra, Written Instructions for Living. We are so lucky and so blessed to have a guidebook to life, to living. It's called the Torah. Now we have this guidebook that has influenced the whole world, and we just have to learn how to use it. And we need to learn it, and we need to use what we learn to live our lives in a righteous way by the Torah. So this chapter, basically, this is about getting ourselves to learning Torah, as much Torah as possible. Torah consists of the Chumash, which is the 5 books of Moses, Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, and Dvarim. And this was revealed to the Jewish people by Hashem, by the Almighty at Har Sinai. Then you have the Nevi'im, which are the prophets, the writings of the leading prophets of the Jewish people, like Yeshua, Yeshaya, Yirmiyah, Yehezkel, and whose prophecies were deemed relevant for all time. And the Ketuvim, the writings which were written with Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration, and emphasize ethical teachings. These includes works like Tehillim, Mishle, and Megillat Esther. So basically we have this guide map, and the Torah has influenced the whole world. There's many. Here it says, for example, John Adams, the second president of the United States, said, "I will insist the Hebrews have contributed more to civilized men than any other nation. If I was an atheist and believed in blind eternal fate, I would still believe the fate that ordained the Jews to be the most essential instrument for civilizing the nations. They are the most glorious nation that ever inhabited this earth. The Romans and their empire were but a bubble in comparison to the Jews. They have given religion to 3/4 of the globe and have influenced the affairs of mankind more and more happily than any other nation, ancient or modern." So that's John Adams, former president of the United States. And we just see the tremendous amount that the Jewish people have influenced the world today in really all sectors, from writing to film to medicine, science. So the Jewish people are, we know the amazing potential that we have and the amazing things we are doing. And thankfully, we don't just go about our life, just waking up and doing whatever we want. We have some instructions here. We have a guide map to live our lives in the most holy, effective way. So, when we take in consideration that we have this divine blueprint for how to live, we need to learn how to properly learn this guidebook. And it gives an example here. Imagine, after decades of searching for signs of extraterrestrial life, NASA received a message from outer space comprising 20 pages of foreign text. Every university and leading scientist in the world would clamor to get hold of the text and be granted the immense privilege of working on deciphering its meaning. The world would be transfixed, yearning to understand each word. So we need to be in awe of the Torah. We need to be in awe that this is the blueprint of creation, and that we need to learn it diligently and devote so much of our time, our energy to really learning Torah. And keep asking, searching, and delving deeper into what each piece of Torah is telling you. Okay? It says, this is really nice here, in Parshat Vayera, in Sefer Bereshit, Avraham is having a conversation with Hashem. 3 strangers pass by Avraham's tent in the desert, and he immediately runs to serve them water and food. So something strange about this is Avraham Avinu is having a conversation with the Almighty. Could anything be better than that? Yet he stops his conversation and he goes to do the mitzvah achnasat orchim. He goes, he gives them water, food, and interrupts his conversation with the Almighty. Now that seems a little strange, but what the Talmud, the Gemara says about that is that as great as it is to talk to Hashem, being like Hashem is even greater. And hospitality is one of the, it's we know that it's a mitzvah, and we have to do mitzvot knowing that we should be like Hashem, and that's actually the brings us the most happiness in life. So we need to have great respect for this text that has survived so many thousands of years. 3,300 years ago, the Torah was fresh then, and it's fresh today. And we'll continue to find gems by studying it closely. And so here's a very challenging thing. I'm still working on it after the last 15 years is working on our Hebrew, because we need to, as great as it is to read from an art school translation of Torah, and you can still learn a tremendous amount, and we need to really delve into find the deep meaning of Torah, and Hebrew really allows us to do that, because, like, for example, in English we'll just say God, as for Hashem, but in the Torah there's many different names for Hashem, and each one has its own meaning. And sometimes words are spelled differently for different reasons. You have different gematrias, numerical value for words, which can be important sometimes. The shape of the letters. The Hebrew language is very important to understanding the Torah. And so we should always work on our Hebrew, which is not easy. It's very different than English and a lot of other languages. But we need to constantly keep that as part of our study, is working on our Hebrew, working on our Torah study. And let's see. It says that Torah is the inheritance of every single Jew. It says, you shall think about it day and night. Yoshua exhorts the nation, it says to the nation, so we should always be day and night involved in Torah and immersed in it, studying it and practicing it, putting it to use. Hillel warns us, do not say, when I have free time I will study, for perhaps you will never have time. That's in Pirkei Avot. We have to make times in our day set for Torah learning. We talked about this previously. We can't just let it happen when it happens. This is something so important, so vital to our existence, to the continuation of the Jewish people, to our happiness, to our spiritual well-being, that we really need to make time for it, not just let it happen when it happens. Put it into our planner. And we learn secular studies for a certain amount of time, but then at a certain age, if you're not working in mathematics, then you're probably not learning so much math after high school, But Torah is a study for lifetime, because we always need to be growing, learning more, and it's never ending. We can always learn our history more, the deeper secrets of Torah. We repeat the Torah every year, and we keep getting deeper and deeper into it and growing as people, hopefully. Okay? So we shouldn't be discouraged if we start learning Torah later in life, if we didn't go to yeshiva growing up. We learn that the great Talmud scholar Rebbe Akiva didn't learn the Aleph until he was 40 years old. And this is the same Rebbe Akiva who became the greatest sage of the generation, with 24,000 students under his tutelage. So he was an amazing Rav, and he only started learning it at 40. And so if you start late, you can still become a great Talmid Chacham. You can still become very learned in Torah. And even if you don't become, comparatively to other people, great in Torah, every little bit that you learn is a big zchut, a big honor. You should be proud of every bit of Torah that you learn, and hopefully even the littlest things make us better people, and makes Hashem very happy that we're learning His Torah. In fact, we have lots of mitzvot, but our Chazal, our sages tell us that learning Torah is greater than all of the mitzvot. And that's true regardless of your level of learning. Whether you're learning the very basic things or the complex Kabbalistic ideas or the most basic things, Torah has the most merit of any of the mitzvot. So every word, every phrase contains a message about how to maximize the true pleasure in life. So look for the deeper message, the wisdom within, and you will reap immense rewards in this world and the next. So we'll keep digging, and looking deeper in the Torah for the gems in there. Some parts we might enjoy more, some parts less, but we know that it's all important. We have to learn it as much as possible, and hopefully our level will just go up and up and up, and we'll enjoy learning even more and be able to learn more things. And so just to recap this chapter, Torah is our manual for life. We need to learn it, and we need to use it and apply it to our lives to be a mensch, to be a good yid, a good Jew who gets close to Hashem by doing Hashem's will. Torah influences the whole world. Many non-Jews will admit this. Learn Torah as much as possible, day and night. Improve your Hebrew, improve our Hebrew to get the deeper meaning. And don't be discouraged if you start learning Torah later in life. You can still learn to be a great Talmid Chacham, and every drop of Torah that you learn is precious. So thanks a lot. That was number 14. Moving on to 15 next time, which is Mishnah, the oral Torah.